Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the third episode of Parrot Park Radio, coming to you loud and clear from the studios of City Park Radio. Thanks to our producer, Chris Ball. We have a big show planned tonight, another big show. First of all, you're probably thinking, where is the star of the show, Rick Fontaine? Why am I doing the opening? Well, Rick pulled up a bit sore after last week's show. He spent a few days in hospital with ruptured appendix. So big shout out to you, Rick. Hopefully you're resting up this week, and we look forward to you returning for next week's show, which will be a big show again. So we have had a replacement, though, for Rick, and that person I'll introduce in a minute. But first up, I'd like to introduce our regular co-host, Justin Pup Ketchell. How are you, Pup?
Yeah, good, Bobby. Going all right. So, all the best to you, Rick. Hope you're back on board next week, even though Ollie will give you a run for your money, I reckon, tonight.
Yes. Yes, and that is a great segue into our new recruit on the show. He's a very big fan of the show, and it's great to have him here. He's a current senior player at the club, been there a couple of years, entering his third year this year. Great to have Ollie Wood on board. How are you, Ollie?
Hey, Bobby. Hey, Pup. Thanks for having me.
Mate.
It's great to be here. As you said, I've really enjoyed the first couple of weeks. So, yeah, looking forward to have a bit of fun over the next hour.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. And we have got a big show planned tonight. We've got a man who's been mentioned by a lot of people on the show in the first 2 weeks. It's Chris Walker, who will be on. He'll be our first guest tonight. Then we will follow that up with two people we're interviewing at once, which will be the Philgate sisters, Chelsea and Leah. That will be very entertaining. And later in the show, we'll have number 8 of our top 10 of this century. And we'll finish, as usual, with our Parrot Lotto. So, but before we get going, men, with a big show, just want to get a bit of feedback. How are you going, Ollie, with no footy at the moment, mate? You've obviously settled back into footy in the last 2 years. You had a very prominent junior career in footy, and then you took some time away from footy to concentrate on your cricket, which you're very good at, and we'll touch a bit on cricket as we go. But what are you doing with yourself, mate? No footy at the minute.
Yeah, obviously, Bobby, like everyone else, I'm definitely missing my footy. But to be completely honest with you, I was mentioning to Pup there before, it probably hasn't come at a better time, if I can say that. I'm in the middle of my last year of my primary education degree, and so it's actually been quite a nice opportunity to focus on my studies and everything else like that, and at the same time as well, it's just been nice to have a little bit of a chill out and a little bit of a spell from everything. Obviously, it'd be great to be playing footy, but I think in a time like this, you've got to try and take the positives, and for me, there've been a couple of things that I've really been able to focus on, which has been really enjoyable.
No, definitely, mate. And I think you're right. It's about finding the positives. There's so many negative things that have come out of this time, but there is a lot of positives about it. And I know I've been very optimistic and hopeful that we'll get a season in later on. What are your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, to be honest, if you asked a few of the boys and even some of my mates, I reckon I'd be driving them crazy with sort of how optimistic I have been. But yeah, I'm still really optimistic. I think if you have a look at the stats and everything else, I think it's starting to trend in the right way, which is really positive. And I think being optimistic is all you can do, because I think if you're optimistic and we do get a season going, then we're ready to go. And if not, then we've given ourselves every chance to make sure we're ready to go. So at the end of the day, if it goes ahead, fantastic. But either way, whether it's this year or next year, I think we'll be a lot more appreciative of everything that we did have before, and particularly footy. So I'm really hopeful, and hopefully there's some exciting announcements coming in the following days. Obviously, the AFL are making some really good ground at the moment, and that's where it all starts.
Yeah, and definitely, mate. We're obviously waiting for the AFL announcement on their elite competition, and then hopefully not long after that, an announcement on community football. But probably open up to you too, Pup. What were your thoughts on, obviously the Premier made some announcements Friday, and we've got our road to recovery. What were your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, no, all good, Bobby. Obviously, we got the 3 stages moving forward. Obviously, it's a good step to be going into the first one. A few things obviously kicked off yesterday. Next Monday, I think we can go out to 10 people in the community. Obviously still abiding by your social distancing and so on. And then, down the track, I think it's in June, middle of June, out to 20-odd people and so on. But, obviously, things are going well at the moment, and hopefully they continue to, with everybody in the state doing the right thing. And as you just touched on with the AFL and obviously within the next couple of days they'll make that announcement, and obviously then the NTFA will obviously get together and with the clubs and start making some progress.
Yeah, and I think there is a good opportunity that we'll be able to get back to training soon in some form, even if it is in groups of 10, something like that. And I mean, as a club, we'll obviously have to get the official go-ahead from AFL and NTFA to do that, but at least some people can train in smaller groups by themselves, things like that, which is just at least getting people more connected again and things like that, Ollie, wouldn't you thought?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, I think with the way that the restrictions have been, with 2 people and all the rest, obviously footy is the main goal, but I think it's going to be really good to see people actually appreciating, we can catch up with 5 people, we can catch up with 10 people, and I think that'll be really powerful. I know, like, talking to a few guys from footy, it is really exciting that hopefully we'll be able to train in groups of 10 instead of just going with one other person than what it has been. So, definitely some good progress and all the rest, but I definitely think it's our responsibilities to make sure we're continuing to do the right thing and abide by it all, and hopefully we can be back on the park sooner rather than later.
Definitely, and 0 cases. I think we're 4 in a row. We obviously don't know how many today. Hopefully it's 0 again, but 4 days in a row we've had 0 cases in the state. I think it's 7 out of 8 days that we've had 0. So that's the main guide, isn't it? The more 0 cases days we can have, the better we're going to be. And I honestly think the position we are in now, no one would have forecast this late March when we were getting infection rates of 28-30%. So well done. People have done the right thing, and we've stayed home, saved lives, and we can see some light at the end of the tunnel. So excellent. Now we will move on. We'll have our first ad break, and then we'll come back with our first guest.
Hillwood Berries is a family-owned and operated berry farm nestled along the Tamar River. From its beginning, just 9 years ago, the Dornoff family have proudly developed a thriving business of producing delicious seasonal fresh berries. Amongst many groups, they support the seasonal worker program and value the great reward that comes from seeing their local communities develop as a result. They have been proud platinum sponsors of the Bridgnorth Parrots Football Club, both men's and women's teams, for the past 3, going on 4 years, and look forward to continuing this sponsorship into the future.
ProDig are the earth-moving specialists you can trust for all your residential, commercial, industrial and civil work. They are fully licensed and insured and have a very experienced team. No job is too big or too small, with 1.5 to 20 tonne excavators, bobcats, rollers and tippers, offering services ranging from subdivisions, plumbing and drainage to your backyard swimming pool preparation. Call ProDig today.
Parrot's major sponsor, Fulton Hogan, formerly Venarchi Contracting, are your specialists in asphalt and sealing of driveways, sporting courts and private and public roads. We can also supply to fix your timber edging, retaining walls and stormwater systems, and we can rejuvenate your own asphalt to look like new. For statewide free quotes, please call 6325 4400. That's 6325 4400.
Welcome back to Parrot Park Radio. You're with Bobby Beams, Pup Ketchell and Ollie Wood. Our next guest, or our first guest tonight, he has an illustrious career. But before I get to our first guest, I've just been pulled up by Ollie. I thought he'd actually played 2 years. I'm getting ahead of myself. He'd actually played 1 year, and he doesn't know why he wasn't picked for round 1 last year when he did play, but he can probably ask this guest. We have on the line, and I'll just read out before I get him to speak, because once he does start speaking, it'll be probably hard to get him to stop. So I'll read out his resume at the club, and it stacks up to one of the better ones. you would ever see. It is a fantastic one. This fella, Chris Walker, debuted round 1, 2001 v Georgetown. He's played 350 club games. 296 of those have been in the seniors, which potentially could even be a club record. 49 reserves games and 5 in the unders. He's kicked a total of 288 goals for the club. He was named on the wing in the Bridge North Football Club Team of the Decade, 2000 to 2009. His senior top 5 best and fairest have been in 2003, 2008, and he was the NTFA Association Reserves Best and Fairest winner last season. He was a senior premiership player in 2010. He was a reserves premiership coach and the player in 2019, and he's still the current reserves coach. And we'll give him a very big welcome. Chris Walker, how are you, mate?
Good, thanks, Bob. Yourself?
Yeah, going good, thanks, mate. Now, just first question to you. That's obviously a fantastic resume, mate. You're one of probably, I think, only 6 players that have played 350 games at the club. That's an outstanding effort to commit a good 20 years of your life to do it. You've always been a hard trainer, and you've never missed training, always been there, and that's a big commitment, mate. Well done to yourself on that. What's probably been the main thing that's kept you coming back all these years?
That one's pretty easy. It's just the people. It's the mateships I've made along the way. It's definitely pretty easy to turn up. I've never had any dramas with training, and I sort of enjoy the social side probably more so than the actual training side. But yeah, I mean, it's always been easy to turn up, probably apart from when Mick was coaching, but the rest of the time it was all pretty good and pretty easy, and just the people you muck around with during training, before training, after training. It's quite enjoyable just to be there to do it with them. Yeah,
no, definitely, mate, and we've certainly had some very good times, which no doubt we'll touch on through this interview. But I guess one thing for me, watching you, having played football with you, and then watching you now, you've just gone to another level with what you're doing as a coach. From a player that always played, you're one of the fittest players running around. Your endurance was one of your main assets. You've been able to go into the coaching, change the position you play. You've obviously your experience has taught you to do that, to play that. I think steal one of your own phrases, play a Nick Floston role across the half back. But what I've really noticed with you in the 2 years you've coached, you've gone from a coach that I think dropped the F-bomb 6 times in your first speech to someone who has really found the ability to connect with your players, to get the best out of them and grow that group to be a very professional outfit to win the premiership last year. That was obviously a highlight, mate, coaching a premiership.
Sure was, yeah. Right up there, definitely. But once again, I said to Hank, it was a function in the middle of the year, and I said to him, it was like, I really want to win a flag this year. I said, not for the simple fact to win a flag, but to win a flag with our current group that we had. It was just a really easy group to coach, and an amazing group of people. And obviously Robert Page is one of my best mates, and quite good mates with Arnie too. So I don't know. We talked about it afterwards, that we had that image of us three being up on the podium, and it's more what you do with your mates, more so than, I guess, winning flags, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, mate. Really, really is. And credit to you, mate. It's certainly a fantastic senior career, and I know 4 games and you could reach 300 senior games. Had you not taken up the reserves coaching, you probably would have got there, but I think it's credit to you that it wasn't about personal milestones. It's about growing some young players at the club, which you've been able to do. So good on you with that, mate. I'll pass over to Pup, who will no doubt have some questions.
Thank you. Ketchel.
G'day, Sil. How are you?
Thanks. How are you going?
Good, mate. Yeah. Once again, great resume when you read that out, Sil. Obviously, I'm going to touch a little bit on last year. Obviously, being involved with you with that, and couldn't agree more. What a great bunch of guys. As you know, not just the 24 on the grand final day. We had 32 odd play throughout the year, and obviously, the hard decisions, guys missing out. But to their credit, obviously, before COVID hit, we had a lot of those guys back training to have a crack for this year. You probably couldn't have scripted any better for the year, Sil. Obviously, premiership coach, and to do it, obviously it took us a while to work it out, first episode or whenever it was, it was your actual 350th game.
I did expect better from you. I would have thought that you would have remembered straight up.
I couldn't get a word in, as you'd know. Bobby just took off that first episode, and even Rick was a bit aghast of how well he can talk, as you know too, Sil.
I know. An hour and 10 episode, and Bobby talked for 75 minutes of it.
Yeah, about that. Anyhow, just a bit of a stat here, as Bobby'd been talking. 350 games, 288 goals. Is that correct? I thought you would have kicked more goals than that.
No, I'd probably be right. I don't think I kicked a lot early.
That's we were talking about averages with Blackie, obviously, and you've played forward a lot, but that's a piss poor average, isn't it?
Not great, is it?
That's less than one a game.
To be fair, though, I was probably feeding Leroy.
And I actually reckon if we could really do the stats, I reckon Pinky to have the stats here. I reckon you've given away more 50-metre penalties than you've kicked goals, I'd say, over your career.
Definitely.
I was an angry man, wasn't I?
Now, Chris, did an umpire ever change his decision after all those times you argued with him and gave away 50s? Did one ever change their mind?
I didn't just give away 50s. I gave away 100s as well, don't forget.
Yeah, and cost us penalties on a Tuesday night.
No, I don't know. I guess at the current point of time, I've had time to reflect on things, and I'm working down at Scottsdale at the moment, so I was listening to Dylan Friends, and he was talking to Kane Lambert, and Kane Lambert just said he wasn't enjoying footy, so he had a year off. It was after he didn't get drafted the first time, crazily enough. And I think that was probably, not that I wasn't enjoying it, I was probably just putting too much pressure on myself. But I guess I was probably chasing awards and wins more than I should have been. And when I wasn't playing well, I was getting frustrated, and things didn't go my way. I guess I spat the dummy, and not very often opposition copped it. A few of them did, but the umpires seem to wear the brunt of it.
Yeah, they sure did, mate.
So I think it's just probably coming more from putting pressure on myself and wanting to perform and wanting to achieve rather than just doing what I should be doing and just being out there enjoying it.
Just enjoying it as you are now, and it definitely shows in your footy.
Yeah.
Now, Chris, you may not be aware, Rick Fontaine's actually pulled up sick and hasn't made it tonight. So we've got another panellist who will ask you some questions now. I'll hand over to Ollie Wood.
Hey, Silly, how you going?
Hey, Ollie, how are we?
Yeah, very good, mate. Just a quick question for you, and I didn't actually get an opportunity to ask you this, but obviously there last year, as we touched on before, returned to footy and all that kind of thing, and really wrapped to go round one. Do you want to explain to me and the viewers what was the reasoning for not picking me round one there?
Well, what is round one? How many times did you train? 3?
Beg your pardon?
4? How many times did you train? 3 or 4?
How many times did you train?
Oh, probably would have been 3 times, I reckon. Which I think might have been the reasoning in the end, which was probably a pretty fair call. But yeah, no, I thought that was quite an interesting decision. Looking back on it, Silly, is it something that keeps you up at night? Because I tell you what, it's something that I think about most days.
Probably keeps me up at night more about Solly than you, to be fair. Solly also missed out, so I was happy enough to do it to you, but Solly I probably thought was a bit harsh.
Yeah, that's probably quite fair there, Silly. Obviously, Solly's been a really good player at the club for a couple of years. And just one thing from me as well. In regard to the footy club, obviously a fair few guys have had an opportunity to stitch you up there with who they've found as the biggest pests at the club. Is there anyone there that you'd like to get some revenge on? Because certainly you have been thrown under the bus on numerous occasions.
Oh, I don't know. I think anything that comes out, any publicity is good publicity, but I don't know. Not much really annoys me. A bit of Jake Nunn's carry on with his dodgy knees. I was going to say I've never seen a bloke bounce back so quick, but you unfortunately fit into that category, Ollie, with your carry on last year with your bad knee and got stretches off and then back on the training track on Tuesday. So Nunny does that. That annoys me because he sucks people in. All the newbies come along and think Nunny's got a serious knee injury and 10 minutes later he's up running around. But no, I guess obviously I don't have long left to go in my career, and probably the two that are going to take the mantle, these two blokes probably have average IQs at best. They're loud, they're obnoxious, they're hyperactive, and most importantly, like myself, they find themselves funnier than everyone else finds them. And that'd be Sam Glanville and Jimmy Grief. They're just exactly going to carbon copy me, I reckon.
Oh, no, very good, mate. We've had Jimmy on the show. We'll have to get Sammy Glanville on, I reckon. Last year's Reserves Best and Fairest winner. So
that'll be exciting.
Yeah. No, he will be exciting. He's a very good bloke, good Richmond man. Now, Chris...
Can he get a sentence together, though, Robert?
Oh, I reckon he can. He can. Now... Chris, you've obviously played 350 games and haven't added to that because of the current situation. Are you eyeing off your uncle's club record?
No.
You're not?
No way. No, well, Byron's 5 now, so I guess he's got a few years in Auskick, and if he goes to mini-league, then I guess that'll probably take precedence over myself. But, hopefully I can go till then, another 3 years or so. I enjoy it, and I think at the same time, you're a long time retired, and what else are you going to do in the winter?
Yeah, well, that's it. Now, how is your body travelling? Obviously, you've never had too many injuries apart from a couple of sort of freak ones, never soft tissue or anything like that. You've never carried a lot of weight. You've always been very fit. How is the body travelling at your age? You're around mid-30s?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Go for a run with Arnie every week at the moment. But other than that, I'm not doing heaps. But yeah, no, it feels pretty good. I mean, I had a sore shoulder all through the finals, and it hindered cricket a little bit. But even that wasn't super bad for football. It's probably more a cricket thing that it affected me. But no, I feel good, and I guess at my age, we're probably only one serious injury away from being finished, but I don't know. I'm just happy doing what I'm doing, and hopefully it can go a bit longer. Yeah,
no, fair enough, mate. Pup's got a question on some of your best players played with and against, I think.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Each week there, Sil, you've been listening, and Ollie touched on the most annoying around the club, which is something we'll do with everyone we get on. Yeah, obviously, who's there's a couple of obvious ones at our club, of course, but best players you've played with and obviously against.
I don't know. I'll probably sometimes look at things slightly differently, but I'll probably base it more on the impact that people have rather than accumulation of possessions.
Yep.
And played with, I think, just the way Jason Savage went about it.
Yep.
I mean, he's a hard nut. He finds the ball. His left foot's pretty amazing. Only just started. early 2000s, and I had 2 years with him. So I remembered his potent left foot, and I remembered how good it was. And then when he came back, it was like, wow. I don't know, can't remember whether it was that good or not. But I think he had a year 2014 or 13 it was, and he came up and he won our best and fairest, association best and fairest. He's probably mid-30s, and a lot of people have said that was the best year of footy he played, so he was definitely one. I think his brother Chris, he could make an impact. He probably wasn't as good as Jason, but he could do a bit more freaky stuff. I saw him take some pretty good marks and kick some good goals. Murph was just a freak. He could do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. And obviously Dunks and Clements are up there as well, so played with. Played against David Wickham was quite comfortably, in my eyes, the best one. He's just, opposition knew that they double teamed him, triple teamed him, Ruckman sat in front of him, back pockets were jumping over him, and he kicked goals all day. It didn't matter whether he's playing the best sides or the worst sides, but I've never played against anyone where you keep them to 5 goals and you win the game.
Yep.
Anyone else in the MTFA kicks 5 goals, they've had a pretty good day, where he's probably had a poor day if he kicked 5. So him, Chris Jones from Georgetown just racked them up, unreal sidestep. I think Crazy Out from Longford. And Justin Rigby only played probably late in his career, but he sat across centre half back. He's probably a bit before his time as that loose centre half back, and he just intercept all day, rack them up, and it was just a natural athlete that could run, and he had problems with umpires just like I did, I think. That's brought back a few memories of especially opposition players.
You certainly got some splinters there, Silly. We asked you to name one, and you've named about 6 of each. So, sitting on the fence, mate.
If you want one of these, Jackson Savage, David Wickham.
Okay, righto. Very good. So, thank you, mate, for being our first guest on tonight's show. Like I said when I read out your resume, fantastic effort. Your credit to yourself. We look forward to you continuing to play. Hopefully this year we can get back out there and keep coaching the young group you've got, and hopefully to back-to-back flags. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thank you.
Good on yourself.
Cheers, Silly.
See ya. Bye.
Certainly, an impressive record, isn't it, really? Like 296 senior games, which is potentially some of the history going back is a bit cloudy, and Pinky's looking into that, our club historian, but 296, that's a mammoth effort, isn't it, really?
Oh, yeah. Yep, great effort. Like, as he said, he's going to maybe pull on the boots for another 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know whether now, he obviously, in 2018, he nearly played, or he obviously qualified for finals in the Resies, but he played quite a few senior games that year as well.
Yeah,
as
he
coaching
did.
the twos.
Yeah, so no, he's certainly been a great asset to the club, to have around the club, and his first senior game, round 1 2001, was actually his first game ever of football. He'd only ever played soccer, come and did the pre-season and trained the house down with his aerobic ability, and was given a game first up. I believe it was a gala day at York Park he played. And he virtually has been there since. Only 5 games in the unders that year, and most of his reserves games have been in the last couple of years. So no, great to have him involved with the club and be our first guest tonight. So we will go to our second ad break of the night, and then we'll have our next guest on.
Parrot's club sponsor Steam Clean are carpet cleaning and repairs experts who also have general cleaning and window cleaning services and offer emergency services 24 hours a day, 7 days per week. Just look us up on the net. Steam Clean. Clean to a standard, not to a price.
Phil owns Tamar Valley Lethborg Family Funerals. Phil and his team find it a privilege and honour to facilitate farewells that celebrate life and helps families honour their loved ones. To quote Phil, there is great value in meaningful funerals. It brings community, closure and comfort for family and friends. Phil is passionate about pre-planning, fitting farewells and helping people in grief. He and his team are available anytime. Feel free to phone Phil. Go the Parrots.
Andrew Sides granted a Marble, a Bridgnorth-based manufacturing business, specialising in composite and natural stone for kitchens, bathrooms, hearths, headstones and barbecue areas. With over 30 years' experience, call Andrew today on 0408 144 794. That's 0408 144 794.
Welcome back to Parrot Park Radio. You're with Ollie Wood, Justin Pup Ketchell and myself, Bobby Beams. Now, our next guest tonight, a couple of girls from our women's team. One, they're sisters, so we've got them both on the line together. Now, the first one, Leah Fieldgate, and her sister Chelsea Fieldgate. Now, Leah played with us last year in our inaugural year, had a fantastic year. I believe she came in the top 5 in our best and fairest, had a fantastic season. And her sister Chelsea has crossed over from Evandale and had been training fantastically until we stopped, or actually till she got injured in a practice game, which we'll talk about tonight. But they join us on the line. Leah and Chelsea, are you there? How are you going?
Hey, Bob. Hey, Bobby.
How are you, girls?
Yeah, all right.
All right?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, no, we're going all right. We had a few changes here tonight. Rick pulled out, so we've got Ollie Wood on board, and I'm in the driver's seat, so I'm not sure where I'll go with that. But anyway, we'll give it a crack, eh? So, how you going, girls? With obviously no football, no training. I know you're into netball as well. You can't do that. How are you handling things at the moment?
It's a bit tough without any sport going on at the moment, but I think that we're going all right, considering. Yeah, just keeping busy, working, and trying to exercise where we can and where we can be bothered. Yes,
yeah, that motivation is hard for us all at this time, but hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel and we can get back into some form of some training pretty soon. But yeah. I guess question probably to you, Leah, first. You had your first season with us last year. You had a fantastic season, polled very well in our best and fairest, and were consistently in our best players. I know you enjoyed it. What was probably the highlight for the year for you?
Just playing with all the girls. Like, we had such a great team, and I feel like we all really worked together. And obviously that's shown with how far we came in our season, getting to finals. And like most of us were first year players, so it was awesome. And just to feel a part of a club like Bridgnorth was amazing. Like, just all of us being welcomed by everyone and being supported, that was, my biggest highlight. And, just you guys, the coaches, everything, learning lots.
No, definitely. It was obviously great. We've said it a lot, how great it was to have the girls program come to the club and introduce a lot of new people to the Bridgnorth way. So, and Chelsea, you're obviously one that we've introduced to the club this year and would have been great to be playing. We would have had a few games under our belt by now, and hopefully we can get underway soon. How have you enjoyed the transition over from Evandale in the pre-season? And obviously you played half a practice match before you were unfortunately injured pretty badly and carted off to hospital, but you've recovered well from that. But how are you enjoying the transition over to Parrotland?
I've absolutely loved it. I think that there's so many strong personalities in the women's team, and that you coaches are very supportive of all of us girls, and I just think it's a really enjoyable time. And you guys have really pushed us to our limits at some of the trainings, but it's always been pretty enjoyable. And it's been heaps of fun. I think my highlight of pre-season so far was when Nikki Uso tackled Pup down to the ground in one of the simulation practices at training, and Pup was a bit sore to get back up. It's probably my highlight of the pre-season, I reckon. Yeah,
no, he's certainly, when you get to that age, it probably is hard to get back up once you get knocked down. But from that knock you had in that practice match, Chelsea, you're all fully recovered. You would have been due to be right by about round 1, but you've had no side effects with that?
No, been all good. Got the clear from the doctor, which I was really excited to get back into it. And then, unfortunately the season got put on hold, which is unfortunate. But, no, all good. Haven't had any side effects or anything from it, which is awesome.
Excellent. We'll look forward to getting you back on the track when we can. Pup, you've got no doubt got some good questions there.
Yeah, I've got a couple there. Hey, girls. Good to hear your voices. Just obviously, Leah, known you for over 12 months now. Chelsea, I don't know if you can recall, but I'm pretty sure I met you up at the casino. The NTFAW dinner. Do you recall that at all or not?
Lots of great memories from that night.
Yep.
That's definitely the night for you, Chelsea. A great night. That's definitely the oldest memory bank somewhere. I just can't seem to get it.
That was a good 3 or 4 hours up there, wasn't it?
More like 2. I think Mum was pretty impressed coming to pick me up from the casino.
Yeah. Was it something you ate that made you a little bit...
Yeah, definitely. I think it was something I ate. Yeah. Not the wine or anything like that. It's definitely the food, I think.
No, that's right.
Well, at least we found a use for those wine buckets on the table anyway.
Exactly. I was just sitting there. I just thought I'd put them to use.
Yeah, and obviously, we're all missing the football at the minute, and obviously, especially Leah, and then obviously yourself, Chelsea, is our social side of the club. As you know, Leah had some great functions last year. We obviously had, and hopefully still will have a few later on. That's obviously a good part of our club, is our behind the scenes and our just the way everyone gets on and just has a good time.
Definitely silent discos. Yeah, I think that's what I was looking forward to. One of the big things I was looking forward to was coming to a few of the famous Parrot functions. I've heard lots of stories, lots of Snapchats and stuff. Pup likes to have his good old jelly shots at the functions, don't you, Pup?
I don't. I normally don't like them forced into my mouth, but sometimes that happens with the younger generation, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
You were at our ball last year, Chelsea, too, weren't you? That's where you were signed up, I believe.
Yeah, that's where I took a video saying, Bobby, we're getting this on video right now. I'll shake my hand and say I'm part of the Parrots next year, because I wanted to secure my spot because I knew you only got 3 clearances. So I had a bit of video evidence there.
Yes, that's right, and we stood by that. Now, we've got another panellist on here tonight with Rick not here, Ollie Wood, and no doubt Ollie would have some hard-hitting questions for you, I'm sure.
How you going, girls?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Just a little bit of a different one. I know I was talking to Bobby before, and he was talking about how he'd had a mindfulness coach employed and working with you guys. And obviously, I know that's something I've sort of read about and listened to and everything else. Can you explain to, I suppose, the listeners out there, obviously if you've taken part and what the consensus has been on the mindfulness stuff and what you've enjoyed about it?
Yeah, so we've had Jess introduce us to a mindfulness coach who's Mon. She came to one of our team training days earlier in the year, and she was fantastic. Just straight off the bat, she was really welcoming and shared some of her stories and struggles and tips with us. So just getting us to connect with our minds and come more intertwined with ourselves. And she's been really good during this COVID-19 process. So she still posts tips and tricks on the page, and she does little challenges for us, which I think keeps us all connected and kind of just keeps us going during this time and letting us, connect more with ourselves while we have this time on our hands too. Yeah, it's been really good having the coaches involved. I know that what you were saying at the start, it was easy for people to be a bit sceptical on it all, but yeah, having Bobby and Pup and Harry and Chico being really open-minded about it all, which was what it's all about, and everyone getting involved is really good. It's been a really good team effort in all of our mindfulness sessions with her so far.
Yeah, no, definitely, and like you say, Mon's been great through this process, putting things on the page and And, yeah, hopefully we can get back to some more sessions before games and things like that, because I think we were really getting into it. So, Chelsea, just one question. How did James handle himself last week on here, you think?
Yeah, I know. I did listen back on the radio. I think he's out the door trying to listen to us at the moment, because he apparently set high standards, but Lee and I didn't think he did. We thought we would do way better than he did, so we're just trying to rub it in his face a little bit.
Oh, no, you're going very well. I would have thought, man.
Oh, he did all right.
Definitely. You're definitely in front of Jimmy at the moment, that's for sure.
Yeah.
How many autographs did he try to get out there?
Oh, yeah, I heard that he had a few people lined up at the door. He tries to tell me, but
That's what he tells
I'm not
you,
too
yeah.
sure about it. Yeah, he's famous now, isn't he? I think he's got a bit of a big head.
No, very well done, girls. Great to have you on the show, and like we say to every guest, hopefully we'll be back on the training track soon, and we can get back to doing what we all love. So,
yep.
Great to have you at the club, Chelsea. Great to have you back on board again, Leah. Thank you for joining the program tonight.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Bob.
Good stuff,
Thanks,
girls.
Bob. Ollie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parrot.
So,
Bye,
no,
guys.
excellent. They're great girls to have around, like all the girls' team. They love the functions, but they love the training and the camaraderie that you get with a football club, as opposed to, I guess, the other sports. Some of the other sports they play, I guess you turn up, you play your game, and you go. Where we've got that real social connection, and it's probably why there's 7 or 8 couples that have formed from the men's and the women's. So, yeah, certainly great to have on board.
Yeah, I think if you look at women's football as a whole, it's incredible how much it's taking off, and it just continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger every year. And obviously it was a really promising start from the girls last year, and I think it exceeded your expectations, Bobby, and you're amazed at how much they're improving. We're seeing the standard and the quality of play improve. So I think it's definitely going to be one of those things that's going to be watched upon, and it's an incredibly exciting time for not just football in the country, but more locally here, and particularly with us at the Parrots.
Yeah, and spot on. As a coach that just loves to teach and to coach these girls, they're just like sponges. They absorb everything you tell them, and they will go away and work on it. We had girls that, when we started late 2018, our first training run, couldn't kick the footy, but by the time we started, at the start of 2019, they were kicking it lace out, and they just worked on it. They got a footy, went away, and just put a lot of hours into it, and very teachable, want to learn, and just love having a great time. So, been a big plus at the footy club. Hopefully we can get back on the track and on the field soon to our fans to see them. We will go to our next break, and we will then come back with our number 8 in the top 10 of this century.
Mackerel Buildings specialises in extensions, new homes and bathroom transformations. For non-obligation quotes, please contact Paddy today on 04 67 540 337. Go Parrots!
Titan Windows and Doors are your leaders in quality UPVC double glazed windows and doors with exceptional energy efficiency. With a comprehensive range, our friendly staff are sure to help you select the perfect choice for your new or existing premises. Call in and see us today at 9 Lagana Park Drive or phone 63 303 639, a proud Bridge North Parrots major sponsor.
Beams Brothers is our longest serving sponsor, who are big supporters of local football. Beams offers a huge variety of products from agricultural lime and dolomite, landscaping materials to machine hire, all at affordable prices. Beams Brothers have grown from humble beginnings to now being one of the Westhamers' biggest employers. Past present employees have pulled on the Parrots Guernseys, with 4 brothers, Ian, Ted, Tony and Donald, playing with the club, also with brother-in-law Peter Stratton. Robin Tasker had a kick, as did modern-day star Joel Clements. Call Beams Brothers today.
Welcome back to Parrot Park Radio. You're with Bobby Beams, Ollie Wood and Justin Pup Ketchell. Now, we're at the time of the night where we continue our countdown of our top 10 players of this century. Now, we've already had number 10, who was Stuart Plugger Brewer, and number 9, who was Lee Blackwell. Now, number 8, this player here is still a current player. He played in the grand final last year. He made his senior debut in 2015. He's played 60 senior games. He's kicked 181 goals, which is a pretty good strike rate, over 3 a game. He's senior top 5 best and fairest in 2017, and then in last year he was runner-up. He has been our senior leading goal kicker, which is now called the Scolyer Medal, in all four seasons that he's played, 2015, 16, 17 and 19. Our number 8 is none other than Rowan Sargent. Thanks for joining us, Rowan. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you, Bobby?
Yeah, going good, thanks, Cobber. Congratulations, mate, for being nominated, being picked for that top 10. You're so far the youngest in there. We've obviously still got a few to go, but well done, mate. In your 4 years, you've been fantastic, kicked a lot of goals. I don't think we've seen the best of you yet. Your pre-season this year was, as Jake Nunn had said, you were just setting the track on fire. Would have been keen to be playing and having a few goals to your name already, but well done on your pre-season, mate. How are you finding the current situation and no footy, especially after the effort you'd put in for since November last year?
Yeah, thanks, Bobby. Obviously, it's a bit of a strange situation for everyone with the way footy is at the moment, but I suppose it is a bit disheartening too after doing a full pre-season and getting pretty good nicks. So, just trying to keep busy and do a little bit myself, what I can at home and stuff like that. But just mainly, focusing on work and trying to keep busy and get a bit of extra stuff done with this time off. So,
yeah, no, definitely, mate. Yeah, so I think for me, sitting back watching you, I think one of the main things is your power, your marking ability. You had 2018 off, and you spent a lot of time in the gym, and you come back bigger and stronger. And you've kicked some big bags of goals in your time at the club. What's been your highlight? We played in the grand final last year, which didn't sort of work out how we wanted it. But what has your highlight been in your 4 seasons at the club?
Obviously you'd like to say it'd be the grand finals, but the 2 we've played in haven't really gone our way. But I think we've played in a couple of really good prelim finals where we've had big wins, and obviously winning finals footy is probably one of the better feelings. So probably the prelim last year against Longford would be right up there, and then obviously unfortunately couldn't go all the way, but obviously play finals footy, so that's probably the best one so far.
No, definitely. And your leadership, especially in the last couple of years, has really stood out, and Gary Shipton's put you high up in the leadership as even one of the line coaches. How have you enjoyed that, being part of that leadership and part of the coaching staff?
It's obviously something a bit different. I think if you went back 2 or 3 years ago, it probably would have been something that I probably wouldn't have put too much thought into. But I think as you get older and mature and stuff, it's something that sits a bit more comfortably with you. So it's obviously new for me, but I've been enjoying it so far, and it's a shame that the season couldn't get underway. So.
Yeah, g'day Ty, Pup here, mate. How you going?
Good, Pup. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, that's obviously what Bobby started off with, and you'd agree when you first sort of come to the club, just sort of come up and have a bit of a kick, sort of train when you wanted to. Whereas, like say now, your commitment the last couple of years has been, like say, it's fantastic, mate. To where you've got to, and as Bobby said, you've got a big future in front of yourself at Parrotland, that's for sure, mate. So congratulations on getting into this top 10. There's obviously been some very good players around the last 20 years. So yeah, like I say, congratulations. Just one thing earlier on in, I think Paddy Mackerel was when he was coaching. Had the play meeting at half time in the Resies, and you were missing in action, mate. What happened there?
I think you go back a couple of years ago. Obviously, my commitment to footy was probably a bit questionable, and I think there was a couple of games there the year that Paddy was coaching where a few quiet beers on a Friday night turned into a few, and I think there was a couple of games I ended up rocking up about 5 minutes into the first quarter. So you obviously learn from that, and obviously comes with maturity, and you take it a bit more serious, I think.
Yep. No, definitely, mate.
G'day, Tig. It's Ollie here, mate. How are you?
Woody, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Obviously,
That's
congratulations on your position in the top 10 of the century so far. Just a quick question for you from me. Do you think that you could have potentially gone a little bit higher if you didn't have a headless chook like me clogging up your space last year for the majority of the year? I found we get to a lot of our meetings at quarter time there or half time, and a lot of the topics would be, Woody, get out of my space. What are your thoughts there, and do you think that could have a little bit to do with not being a little bit higher?
No, I won't blame you for that. I think it's always good to have yourself and some other key forwards up there to take a good defender away and do their thing. So obviously it's hard, people getting in each other's way, but it all helps out in the long run. And
just obviously we've touched on the circumstances and everything else, and we've got a pretty young group this year. Was there anything in particular about the group that you were looking forward to about this season, whether it be individuals or a game plan or where we're hoping to be finished in terms of the 2020 season?
Well, I think just because obviously our team has changed a lot since our grand final side last year, so obviously a lot younger, so it was going to be a bit of a new challenge, I suppose, to see where we ended up, but that's probably a good thing in a way. You bring in a lot of young players that are willing to listen and learn, and I think it would have been, or it was aiming to be, a fairly good year, and I think we might have surprised a few people with where we did end up if the season didn't get underway. So.
Yeah, and I think as well, mate, obviously we touched on your shape and how you'd been going into the season, and obviously I hadn't been there a whole heap because of cricket, but I know every time I came, I'd be watching training and you'd be a standout, and everyone was really excited for how you were going to go in the 2020 season. Was it just the pain that we touched on there before from the grand final last year that inspired you, or was there a couple of other factors that had a little bit to do with, I suppose, your input to the pre-season? Because, as mentioned, it's been very, very good so far.
Yeah, I think obviously the way the grand final finished up, you use that as motivation going forward. So obviously, it didn't work out the way we wanted to, but I definitely use that as motivation to have a bit of a crack over the pre-season. So that's probably the main thing that got me going. And and obviously, I think after having a year off and coming back to the footy club, it was a lot different environment, and I definitely found a lot more enjoyment in my football coming back and playing last year.
Now, Ty, I just want to talk a little bit about your journey of your football journey before you come to play senior footy at the club. You were a product of our mini league, I do believe.
Yeah, back in the day, mate. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you a year, but I think I first started playing footy when I was probably 12, I reckon, for Bridge North Mini League. So
yeah, and that's great to see as a former coach of the Mini League myself, and Pup was as well. It's great to see the players come back. You obviously went to Launceston to play your junior footy and some senior footy there. It's great you come back. There's been a connection there and that you wanted to come back. So great work, mate. Good to see you. One of our mini league boys coming through, and there's been a few in the side. Jake Rice is another one. The Bonnie boys. There's quite a few when you look through it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think you go away and try and play TSL footy and give yourself a bit of a test. But I think you come back and play country footy, and it's a bit more social side to footy, and probably blokes that you grew up with, and you're a bit more comfortable around and stuff like that. So I think that's the big thing with country footy and Bridge North is just being with your mates and obviously trying to enjoy your footy as much as you can.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. And it really looks like you are enjoying your footy the last couple of years especially, and the way you were training this year. Like I said before, we haven't seen the best of you. I really look forward to you playing the rest of your career at Bridge North, and yeah, we'll see a lot bigger and better things, and we've seen some big things already. So thanks for joining us, Todd. Congratulations on making the top 10, number 8. Thanks very much for joining us.
Lovely, boys. Thanks for having me.
Good on you, Tig.
Cheers, Tig.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
And I think we touched on Tig's leadership. I remember his speech last year when he won the inaugural Scholar medal, and he was runner-up in the Best and Fairest, the Kevin Lack medal. His speech was outstanding, and just the leadership of the man. And I don't think he's 25 yet, or he's only around that age. So, yeah, I think you play out there every week, mate, and you'd see his leadership firsthand on the field.
Yeah, he's a guy that leads with his actions as well. And I think, to be honest, even as a player, if Tig's on, which for how good a player he is, it's most weeks, but it's almost hard to sort of keep your eyes off the way that he's playing. He's just one of those guys that he inspires you to sort of keep playing and keep going and can turn games on his own. So, yeah, I think as you said, it's pretty scary what he could do and all the rest. But I think the thing that was most impressive there is he sort of admitted that potentially when he was younger he had a few things to learn and all the rest, and he's actually used that as a real positive to turn himself in to the great leader in the club, and I just think that's so impressive.
Yeah, no, and he certainly has matured in that, and yeah, so much upside to him. So, no, great to have him in that top 10. Now, before we go to our last break and then finish off with Parrot Lotto, I've just got a shout out here. I got a call last week from Ernie Blackberry, our trainer. All our listeners to Parrot Park Radio would know that Ernie spent a lot of time in hospital last year with Guillain-Barré syndrome. Now he's making a recovery from it, and loves listening to the show, listens every week, and can't wait to return to footy. He missed most of last year, he said. He wasn't able to see it, apart from the grand final when a great team of nurses, which M. Nunn, one of our women's players, was one of them, was able to bring Ernie out to the grand final. But he's really looking forward to being able to watch some footy again this year. So, big shout out to you, Ern. Hopefully you're going well, and we can get to see you at the footy very soon. So, also, I was contacted this week by Alison Fieldgate, who's actually the mum of Chelsea and Leah that we've had on. Now, Alison is involved with Headspace Launceston. Now, they are they're going to get involved with the push-up challenge. Now, Headspace Launceston, they provide mental health support for young people, and it's something I'm very passionate about, and one reason I was big on starting this show to get people connected, people talking in a time when we can't see each other. So when Alison called, I said more than happy to help out. So what we're going to do, the push-up challenge is in 21 days, they want people to do 3,046 push-ups. Now, that number represents the amount of lives lost to suicide in 2018. So it's a pretty high number. Now, I've engaged the service of our women's team, and they will be posting me some videos of them doing push-ups, and we'll put our team video together, and that'll go up on the Headspace Facebook page on Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. If you can donate, jump on board to Headspace and make a donation. And I think, fellas, that's a pretty important cause, isn't it? That sort of thing. And in this time, this current situation, if we can keep people communicating and be active, it's very important.
Oh, definitely, Bobby. Yeah, we touched on this obviously before we come on tonight, and it's not just the younger generation either. It's in these times, of course, and we've had a couple around the club, like just love, as I do, the camaraderie around a football club and the face to face, and obviously and having a beer together and that. Like a lot of people are missing that and getting back to that social aspect of life.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we will have our last break for the night, and then we will come back with Parrot Lotto.
Need a welding or fitting job done? Contact Bobby at Precision Welding and Maintenance. No job is too big or small, from building ute trays, truck trays and steelwork for sheds or houses. Precision Welding do repairs and maintenance on all plant and machinery. Offering a workshop and on-site service, the team at Precision are capable of all fabrication, including aluminium, stainless and heavy fabrication. They also cover general machinery, line boring plus CNC plasma and flame cutting. Precision Welding and Maintenance, a proud sponsor of the Bridgenorth Football Club.
Riverside News and Lotto, a proud Parrot sponsor, is your local contact for all Australia Post requirements, lottery and news agency needs. Drop into their store at 314 West Hammer Road, Riverside.
Experts in solar at CNW. We're local, established, trusted, and all CNW installers are fully accredited. So if you want a tailored solar solution for your commercial property or business with guaranteed quantifiable results your accountant will love, call or drop in your local solar experts at CNW today. CNW, solar systems you can trust.
Welcome back to Parrot Park Radio. We will finish the show now with what we do usually, our Parrots Lotto. Now, we've already had winners in our first 2 weeks. Now, Ollie Wood is in charge of the ball machine tonight, so he will spin it and pull out a number. Away you go, Ollie. So, we've got coming out now, he's just going very steady with it. He only wants to get one out. Here it comes. Oh, he's got it. Number
4 there, Bobby.
Number 4, Paddy Mackerel. Well done, Paddy Mackerel. Well done. $200 to you, Patrick. Now we've got one more, Ollie, if you can spin another one out for $100.
Number 9.
Number 9, one of your teammates, mate, Matthew Zanetto.
Gee, well done, Woggy.
Well done.
Gee whiz, he'd be wrapped with that too, the great man, I reckon.
He would $100. So well done to Paddy and Wog. Thank you, Ollie, for rolling the balls out. How have we gone tonight, fellas?
Yeah, Bobby. When you picked me up, said, I've got a bit of a change tonight. Rick can't make it in. I'm sort of thinking, and then obviously told me on the way into Ollie was coming on board, and great stuff, Ollie.
Thank you.
How have you found it, mate? Yeah. You've been bloody good.
Yeah, I've absolutely loved it. I think to be honest, Bobby and Pup, I think even just the concept of starting this radio and the Parrots Lotto, I think I know myself, I feel incredibly lucky to be a part of such a great club and just to have this initiative going and like for the reasons we spoke about there before, by connecting everyone and all the rest. I think it's a great concept, and to be in here and involved with it has been awesome. So I've absolutely loved it. So thanks, Bobby and Pup.
No worries, stuff, mate. And we can actually put out another seat for the rest of the shows. So have a think about that, mate. You might be our fourth man.
Well, we'll see how we go. Looking forward to hear a little bit of the feedback from a few of the boys in the group chatting a little bit. We'll see what they say. That might dictate if I'm here next week.
Probably a good thing, actually, because it'll probably have to cut 15 minutes out of Bobby's time slot, I reckon.
Oh, we haven't gone too bad. I've got my eye on the clock, Pup, and I think we're about an hour and 5. So Chris will tell us in a minute. But thank you very much, everyone, tuning in. Our numbers have been pretty good for the first 2 weeks, so tell your friends about it. Keep tuning in. Next week's show, we'll obviously have our number 7 in our top 10. and a very, very big guest. So get prepared for that one. For now, goodbye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for
Thank
listening.
you. Catch you later.